Well, as I mentioned, the U.S. Department of Justice has charged FBI informant Alexander Smirnov, alleging he gave false information regarding the international business ties of Joe and Hunter Biden. Now, you'll remember Smirnov reportedly informed the FBI and Congress that the Bidens benefited financially from helping to get fired the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating the energy firm connected to the Bidens. Now, President Biden bragged on camera about threatening to withhold aid until this prosecutor was fired. Now, according to House Oversight and Accountability Committee Chairman James Comer, this arrest doesn't change the bank records and the witness testimony investigators uncovered, revealing that the president participated in his family's business dealings. Now, given this administration's record of weaponizing the Justice Department to target political opponents, what can we make from these charges? Joining me now to discuss this and more, Congressman Scott Perry. He serves on the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. He also serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. He represents the 10th Congressional District of Pennsylvania. Congressman Perry, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to see you.
Well, it's great to be with you, Tony. And I've just listened to your lead up, and I do wonder, it's at least interesting. It's worth questioning, I think, why the FBI is interested in Smirnov regarding allegedly false statements when they seem to have no interest in Christopher Steele for allegedly false statements. They literally have no interest in many members of their own organization that have sat before members of Congress in official hearings, having taken the oath to tell the truth and only the truth, who have then given us false statements. But somehow, for some reason, this guy, one of their top paid, if not their top paid informant, suddenly on this issue gets arrested by them for making false statements about this case. I think that's at least worthy of question. And I also say, I certainly back up the chairman to say, look, even if this is one piece of the puzzle regarding the Biden's influence peddling scheme and the millions of dollars that have come from foreign countries, this is just one piece and one small piece. It doesn't include the bank records. It doesn't include the millions of dollars. It doesn't include the myriad countries. It doesn't include a lot of things. So while he would like it to just go away, I'm sure, I don't see any relenting just based on this. If anything else, I think it might further what should be an investigation into the FBI, who has taken a very long time to deal with what we know are provable crimes offered by Hunter Biden's laptop. As a matter of fact, the FBI was involved in allegedly the cover-up, telling the people of the United States that it was Russian propaganda. Where's the investigation into that, Tony?
You raise so many valid points, Congressman Perry. I want to try to get to a couple of them. You know, my first response to this actually troubles me more than the facts of the case, because my initial response and my response right now is I don't trust the Department of Justice. And that's a very frightening place to be when we cannot trust our own federal government to uphold our rule of law by fairly adjudicating and charging individuals with crimes. I mean, this on its face, as you pointed out, where were the FBI agents in going after others who lied against President Trump, who lied against members of Congress? Where were they then?
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I'm at the same place you are, Tony. I grew up revering the FBI, the Department of Justice, law enforcement in general, and unfortunately, our trust and our faith in these institutions has been shattered. Not because we shattered it, but because they shattered it through their actions. And unfortunately, because of that, it is right and it is appropriate and it is necessary for us to ask the question and to be skeptical about these claims. And as we say this, we see this as we call it, the two-tiered system of justice going after political opponents in one case, and in other cases, can't seem to be bothered to take a look into anything which is right in front of the American people, and they can see the disparity. And so I think I'm going to remain skeptical, and we're just going to continue proceeding until we actually know the truth for ourselves.
So just to kind of dissect this a little bit, he's charged with lying to the FBI. Now, related to this case, but that doesn't mean that all that he said was a lie. There were certainly certain things that he may have said that were not truthful. But the standard of lying to an FBI agent is actually not very high. That's where we see them going after a lot of people, saying that claiming that they lied to them. But as you pointed out, as the chairman pointed out, Chairman Comer, you now have bank records. You have a lot of other things that say there is a lot here.
That's exactly right, Tony. And like I said, this is just one small piece of a very large puzzle for which, by the way, I'll remind you, it's not only the Biden family that has been thwarting our efforts to find the facts and get to the entire truth. It is the agencies, including the Department of Justice, the Department of Justice and the FBI, that have been thwarting our efforts. And you would think, even though they're the executive branch, in pursuit of the truth, they would be willing to provide the documents and the information that we have requested over a long period of time. So again, I watched a guy that pledged his service in uniform to the United States of America, and particularly in the intelligence arena, be set up by the FBI and nearly sent to jail, had his life destroyed, bankrupted. And that, unfortunately, is also the track record of the Department of Justice and the FBI. So in this case, they come to the matter with unclean hands and are deserving of the scrutiny that they're getting.
Well, and I'm certain that the committee will follow that and look at the facts and determine, what's here. And so I have more confidence in the congressional oversight than I do in the Department of Justice by a long ways. Now, I want to switch topics. You serve on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Let's talk funding for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. That's going to be facing you when you come back after this break. President Trump has suggested foreign loans as opposed to foreign aid. Now, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham discussed this yesterday on Face the Nation. I want to play this clip and get your response. Clip one, please.
We're $34 trillion in debt. Ukraine has minerals. They have a lot of resources. Israel has a strong economy. They've been hurt badly by October the 7th. Taiwan is a pretty rich nation. Why don't we do this? Make a favorable loan to all three of these allies. Let them pass back when they can, if they can, because we're $34 trillion in debt. That's the Trump idea.
Does that approach stand a chance in the House?
Well, it should stand a chance. As you know, we did pass a funding bill for Israel that was completely funded using programs that are unnecessary, that are overfunded, and where the money's not being used. The Senate rejected that. So we could pay for it, but at a minimum, and this is one of the few times that I agree with Senator Graham, we went over $34 trillion at the first of this year. We're going to be at $35 trillion in debt before May or during May. The American people want their country taken care of as well. It doesn't mean we don't want to help our friends and our allies that are in trouble wherever they are, but we also have to be able to afford to pay our bills. And Americans right now can't afford their groceries or to pay their credit card bills. And so a little bit of an accountability and at least the prospect of ever being paid back for the aid and assistance that the United States has provided over a long term is a proposition that I think its time has come of age. And if like I said, this is a country at war, or a couple countries at war or on the brink of war. So there's a chance we will never be paid back for this. But right now, under the current provisions, there's no chance whatsoever of ever being paid back. And that's just irresponsible.
This is what I like about President Trump is that he thinks outside the box. And he puts ideas on the table that, initially shake Washington, D.C. because they're not accustomed to thinking differently. But I think this is an approach that has, it's a valid approach.
I think it's a valid approach, too. And again, I think it recognizes the troubles that the United States currently faces, like a wide open border with people on the terror watch list streaming in and whatever that might portend. And so, before you go handing out money to other countries, you got to make sure that you can afford to do so. Right now, our citizens that pay the bill can't afford this.
Right. 100% agree. We need to take care of our own country first, secure that southern border. Congressman Scott Perry, always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking time to be with us on this President's Day.
Well, thank you. God bless you.